there was a group that had an animal shelter called Noah's Ark or something, and they took these animals in and they remained friends. They called them BLT, for bear, tiger, bear, lion, tiger. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz, lions and tigers and bears, oh my, right? But it's real. And they play together, and they fight every now and then. They eat together. When they go to sleep at night, they all curl up together. And you think, well, normally, in their normal habitat, they'd be enemies. In heaven, the animals will not kill each other. And
Hello again, Belize. It's lovely to be here with you once again. We have been going through the acronym A New Start, and now we are on sunshine. I call sunshine nature's immune booster. You know, the sun is absolutely necessary for all living creatures. The sun plays a vital role in all life. Not only for animals, it directs living creatures in their daily activities. Plants and animals draw energy from the sun, and we know they use the sun for growth. How about for human beings? What do we need the sun for? We need the sun for vitamin D3. As a matter of fact, we also get our vitamin D2 from the sun. Vitamin D is essential for us for bone development, for mood regulation, and for immune function. In countries where there is not a lot of sunlight, in Europe more specifically, there are some countries that only have the sunlight during Europe for about 3, maybe 4 hours a day. And many of those people suffer from depression because they have the lack of sunlight. So the mood regulation is, of course, very difficult without the sunshine. Optimum amounts of sunshine have numerous benefits, including, as I said, boosting our vitamin D levels, lifting mood and tolerance to stress, which many people in today's world suffer a lot with stress. I'm sure some of you listening in will feel the same way because stress prevails everywhere. I know living in Australia is actually, you see stress all around you. Children going to school are stressed. Their parents are stressed with their children, and we've seen a major difference in life. So lifting the mood, tolerance to stress is very, very important. Vitamin D, the sunshine, also helps to improve heart efficiency, reduces blood pressure and high blood sugars, lowers cholesterol, sterilizes the environment, and sterilizes your clothing as well. Because when you do your laundry, you hang your clothes up in the sunlight, and that is what sterilizes your clothing, more so than your washing in the wash machine with the powders that maybe some of you are using are toxic and giving and putting toxins into your clothes. But when you hang them out, the sunshine is so amazing, it sterilizes your clothes. It aids in infection fighting. I know that for my patients, what I do is when they have infections, whether they have wounds, sores, any kinds of infections, I get them to sit in the sun with the infection actually elevated to the sun. As a matter of fact, all my patients spend an hour a day in the sunshine. I get them to sunbake a half an hour on the front and a half an hour on the back because sunshine is so important. Vitamin D is crucial for regulating calcium absorption, and many people struggle with calcium absorption. All you need to do is sit in the sunlight for an hour a day, and you will find that the calcium will absorb a lot easier into your skin. As I said, it lowers cholesterol, sensitizing receptors and balancing steroid hormones, prevents leaky gut and autoimmune diseases. And we know that in today's world, we see many people who are suffering with leaky gut syndrome because of the eating habits, the lifestyle practices, lack of exercise, lack of water, And again, lack of sunshine. It reduces the risk of immune dysregulation and inflammation. Inflammation is rife. Most people I come in contact with have inflammation somewhere in their bodies. And for those of you listening in, if you think about that, you will probably be thinking, oh, wow, I have inflammation too. You may have pain in your ligaments, in your joints. You may have pain in your gut, in your gums. You may have headaches all the time, pain in your ears. You may have some kind of inflammation, but inflammation is everywhere. Inflammation is so rampant today because of sugar intake and lack of sunshine, lack of water, and a lack of good optimum nutrition, as I've already discussed right in the beginning of the program. You know, the sun is a colossal, hot cosmic radiation powerhouse, and its surface temperature is 11,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you imagine? You would not even be able to get anywhere near that. You would be fried. Internal temperature is up to 18 million degrees. The core pressure is 700 million tons per square inch, and that is enough to smash atoms and even create nuclear fusion. That is how powerful the sun actually is. And this intense energy allows the sun to radiate constant light and constant warmth throughout the day. And to cover a pinhead, it would radiate enough heat to kill someone 1.5 kilometers away. That is phenomenal. I am just dumbfounded at how the Lord created the sun for us. We are so fortunate that God, in His mercy, He put Earth 93 million miles away from the sun, and it takes sunlight 8 minutes and 20 seconds, 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach us from 93 million miles away. That is a very safe distance for us to benefit from the sun's rays. No matter where we are in the world, of course, the seasons change. So some people get the sun at different times of the year. Like right now in Belize, I believe it is summer here, and right now in Australia it is freezing cold, it is winter, so there is not as much sun as we would normally experience as we get to September, October, November, December, and then February is so hot, people start wishing for the winter again. Like plants, humans need sunlight for optimal health. No sun, we will struggle with the lack of vitamin D3. And we noticed during COVID, many people who were low on vitamin D3 struggled more. And they found, even in places like the UK, where there were pockets and groups of African people in these pockets, those people really struggled with COVID, and many of them even died due to the lack of vitamin D3. So the sunlight is absolutely necessary for us. Many believe that sun exposure is harmful. It's actually overexposure to the direct sunlight that should be avoided. In Australia, the young girls, they lay on the beach, they put a lot of oil on themselves, and they lay in the sun for hours. Now that is not intelligent, because that is actually what we call an overexposure to direct sunlight, and that is what will age the skin, and that it will certainly cause many other problems. But overall, we should be enjoying the sunlight very safely. While many people stay away from the sun, I say first thing in the morning, maybe 10 a.m. is a really good time to lay in the sun and get your optimum amount of sunlight. What is optimum amount? If you are only beginning, for very fair-skinned people, my suggestion is start with only 30 minutes. If you are my complexion, maybe 45 minutes, and if you're darker, about an hour. Now, as you get used to the sun, you should increase that by 15 minutes at least. and then move it up. So my patients at home, 10 a.m., I put the very fair-skinned people into the sun, 30 minutes on the front, 30 minutes on the back. And those who are darker, I put them into the sun for 45 minutes and 45 minutes. Sometimes even darker skin, I put them for an hour and an hour. And I have to be very intelligent at the time of day, and the sunlight is actually hotter as we get into midday. So therefore, I definitely wouldn't put anybody in at midday. That would not be intelligent of me. So I want you to remember that when you are going into the sunlight, you need to be intelligent at what time of day is it? How long should you be there? Do you have a very fair skin that is prone to burning and getting very red with overexposure? Remember, sunlight, like everything else, is best in moderation, which is what I'm suggesting. Prioritize your health and get your daily dose of sunshine. We must be discerning in our need for sunlight, as I was suggesting, because during the early days of COVID, many people of color were disproportionately affected, with many doctors, as I was suggesting, not only in England but around the world, finding out that their patients were critically ill. Vitamin D3 in European countries is an absolute lack. So I suggest in those countries that they try and get into solariums, sun booths, because vitamin D3 is a very widespread issue in these European countries where limited sunlight and dietary habits often lead to inadequate levels. In fact, studies have shown that at least 80% of Europeans have insufficient vitamin D3 levels. That's not going to affect you in Belize. So we won't talk too much about the European countries. But what I want you to know in Belize is that many of you who are extremely dark-skinned are shying away from the sun. I notice people are running into buildings that are very air-conditioned. So you're shying away from the sun. You may not be getting your adequate amount of vitamin D3, and then you're sitting in rooms that are highly air-conditioned that are actually not very good for you. So please stay in the sun in the morning. Get as much exposure as you can first thing in the morning, and then you can go into your homes. But try and refrain also from sitting in an air-conditioned room. It's not very good for your lungs. It's definitely not very good for you, as you will find. I'm not used to it, and when I sit in a room that's air-conditioned, by the end of the day, I have a sore throat, which leads to sore ears. I definitely abstain from highly air-conditioned rooms. Vitamin D is so crucial. It plays a vital role in maintaining overall health and well-being. It is especially important for individuals who are suffering with high inflammatory issues. If you do not spend any time in the sunlight, how are you going to get rid of inflammation? Because vitamin D3 is really what helps. So I usually put my patients on very high doses of vitamin D3 to begin with, including my cancer patients. I put them on 15 tablets of fast-acting vitamin D3 for at least the first week. 5 in the morning, 5 at lunch, and 5 in the evening. Now, vitamin D3 is much more needed in the summer months than it is in the winter months. We sort of noticed with how God created our bodies that in the summer we need vitamin D3 and in the winter we need the melatonin. You know, God created us so fearfully we can actually tell what our bodies need by what happens during the different seasons. So what we want to do is pay attention to your elderly in your communities. Make certain that you put them into the morning sun so that they can have that bit of sunlight to rejuvenate them. I go into the sunlight first thing in the morning. And in fact, I walk before the sun rises. My husband and I walk as the sun is rising. We are walking toward the sun rising. So we see that beautiful sunrise, and it hits the retinas of the eyes. It tweaks the brains, so we know that we are getting revitalized and revived in the brain, in the eyes, first thing in the morning. And that is crucial, very crucial for you. So even if you are unwell, wake up first thing in the morning, go out and get the sunlight in your eyes, get the sunlight on your head. Then you can rest maybe for an hour and go back out, maybe 9, 10 a.m. Belize, I've noticed your sun is very harsh already by 10. So go out at about 9 a.m. In addition to its role in bone health, vitamin D also plays a key role in the immune system, as I've said in the beginning. It helps to regulate the function of immune cells, enabling them to effectively fight off infections and diseases. Studies have shown that individuals with low vitamin D levels are more susceptible to respiratory infections such as colds and flu. And if you can remember 2020, we had the experience with CV, you all know what I'm talking about, and we definitely needed the sunlight then because of the respiratory infections. So we want to remember to take in the sunlight every single day. Adequate vitamin D levels have been shown to have a protective effect against so many different conditions. Right? Chronic diseases, including cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and certain types of cancers. So without the sun, our bodies are going to struggle because we are going to be lacking in the vitamin D3, pardon me, that will actually help our immune systems, that will help us with our chronic diseases, our cardiovascular, and so on. To prevent vitamin D deficiency, it is essential for you to maintain or obtain rather sufficient sunlight exposure, especially during the sunnier months. Remember, we need vitamin D3 in summer, and in winter we need melatonin. And that is why God created the world to have the seasons. In every season we need something different. So there you go, vitamin D3. You need that in summer. So I would like to tell you of a few success stories with people that were low on vitamin D3. In Europe, there were so many people that were lacking in vitamin D3, and we put them onto D3. A lady in London was struggling with chronic fatigue and frequent mood swing for many, many years. After numerous medical consultations, we finally discovered that the root cause was severe vitamin D deficiency. So we put her onto the vitamin D and got her to start to sit in the sunlight every morning. And she was so determined to regain her health that she listened. She did everything that we suggested, and she became so much healthier. And week after week, month after month, she became stronger and stronger. And within months, her energy levels skyrocketed, her mood stabilized, and her immune system improved significantly. And now she is inspiring others and sharing her testimonial. And then there's a young man called Marco who was based in Florence in Italy. His life was transformed as well by trading his sedentary indoor lifestyle for the great outdoors and recognizing the negative impact of vitamin D deficiency, he embraced activities like hiking, cycling, and gradually increasing his sunlight exposure. As his vitamin D levels rose, he noticed a remarkable improvement in his overall well-being. And Marco's journey showcases the power of embracing outdoor activities to combat vitamin D deficiency and to boost overall health. And I myself had the exact same experience. Whilst I struggled with eyesight loss and ill health, I was indoors a lot. But as soon as I went out and I started to get sunlight, I realized that that was exactly what my body needed, simply because my health started to improve, and week after week, month after month, my body was happy with the vitamin D3. The inflammation started to decrease, my energy started to increase. So that is all I have to share on vitamin D3 on Sunshine. I'm going to be praying that you too are going to get out there and get yourself into the sunlight so that you will have the same experience as Sarah, Marco, and myself. Because believe me, the sunshine is powerful. It is a natural doctor, pardon me, that God, our Creator, has put here for us. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for listening. Let us close with prayer. Merciful Father, thank you for your love, your leading, your mercy, and your grace. I pray for everybody that's listening in and watching as I speak about these natural doctors. May they take it in. May they change their own lifestyle practices so that through the acronym A New Start, they too may become healthier. Thank you, Father, for your many blessings. In your precious and your holy name, we thankful, Jesus, and I pray amen. I look forward to seeing you again. See you when I'm talking about T for temperance.